The mustard seed. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled amidst rolling hills and fertile fields, there lived a humble farmer named Jacob. Jacob toiled day in and day out, tending to his crops with care and diligence, striving to provide for his family and make a modest living from the land. One day, as Jacob was working in his fields, he happened upon a tiny seed lying on the ground. It was no larger than a grain of sand, barely visible amidst the dirt and debris. Curious, Jacob picked up the seed and examined it closely, marveling at its minuscule size. Surely, he thought to himself, such a tiny seed could never amount to anything of significance. What use could it possibly be to me? But despite his doubts, Jacob decided to plant the seed in a small patch of soil at the edge of his field. He dug a tiny hole in the earth, gently placed the seed inside, and covered it with soil, scarcely believing that anything would come of it. Weeks passed, and Jacob continued his work in the fields, tending to his crops and caring for his family. He gave little thought to the tiny seed he had planted, assuming that it had been lost amidst the vast expanse of his land. But one day, as Jacob was making his rounds through the fields, he noticed something peculiar. In the spot where he had planted the seed, a small shoot had begun to emerge from the earth. It was no larger than a blade of grass, yet Jacob could sense that there was something different about it, something special. As the days turned into weeks, the tiny shoot continued to grow, stretching its slender stalk towards the sky with each passing day. Jacob watched in amazement as the plant flourished before his eyes, its leaves unfurling and its branches reaching ever higher towards the heavens. Before long, the plant had grown into a magnificent tree, towering over the surrounding fields with its branches spread wide and its leaves casting a welcome shade over the land. Birds nested in its branches, and animals sought refuge beneath its boughs, drawn to the shelter and sustenance it provided. Jacob marveled at the transformation that had taken place before his very eyes. What had once been a tiny seed, barely visible to the naked eye, had now become a mighty tree, a symbol of strength, resilience, and growth. And as Jacob reflected on the journey of the mustard seed, he realized that it held a powerful lesson for all who would listen. Like the mustard seed, he thought, each of us has the potential for greatness within us, waiting to be unlocked and unleashed upon the world. Just as the mustard seed had grown into a mighty tree, so too could each of us grow and flourish, reaching our full potential and making a meaningful impact on the world around us. All it required was faith, patience, and a willingness to embrace the possibilities that lay dormant within us. And so, inspired by the parable of the mustard seed, Jacob resolved to cultivate the seeds of greatness within himself and those around him, nurturing them with care and devotion until they too could blossom into something truly remarkable. And as he looked out upon the field stretching before him, Jacob knew that no dream was too small, no vision too grand, for those who dared to believe in the power of the mustard seed. As Jacob beheld the wondrous transformation of the mustard seed into a magnificent tree, he was filled with awe and wonder at the power of growth and possibility inherent in even the smallest of beginnings. He realized that just as the mustard seed had defied expectations and flourished beyond imagination, so too could he and his fellow villagers overcome obstacles and achieve greatness in their own lives. Inspired by the parable, Jacob shared the story of the mustard seed with his neighbors, urging them to embrace the power of faith and perseverance in the face of adversity. He reminded them that no dream was too small, no vision too grand, for those who dared to believe in the potential that lay dormant within them. As word of the parable spread throughout the village, a sense of hope and possibility began to take root in the hearts of the people. They saw in the mustard seed a symbol of their own resilience and determination, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was always the promise of new life and growth on the horizon. Encouraged by Jacob's example, the villagers set to work cultivating their own mustard seeds of possibility, each determined to see their dreams take root and flourish. They planted gardens, started businesses, and pursued new opportunities with a sense of purpose and determination, knowing that with faith and perseverance, anything was possible. If you like the parable, you can subscribe and like, for which I will be very grateful. Thanks for watching. Don't be sad.